You're watching Consumerthon, and this week we looked at document scanners. We looked at the small and compact Brother ADS 1500. We looked at the NeatConnect, which is a impressive scanner from a hardware perspective, but from a software perspective might drive you insane. We saw the surprisingly complicated Canon Dr-C225, and what may work really well, but for some users might be too simple, and having only one option with Evernote is the ScanSnap Evernote edition. Let's start off with talking about customer support. And this is an area where we can probably quit talking about the NeatConnect. The NeatConnect, despite being one of the more expensive scanners that I demoed, has some of the least good customer service. In fact, you have to pay $50 per year to get phone support. When I tried emailing, I got an email back 4 days later that had basically suggested to do phone support, but then left the fill-in-the-blank time that they were available blank. And it's not something that's easy to set up or easy to use software. Like, you really need to have phone support to get this up and running. If you want to use anything other than just having everything go into the cloud and on their system, if you want to store anything locally, I found it to be impossible. So that's kind of where I left the Neat. The only other customer support that I was able to try out was with the Canon here. And this customer support experience was relatively well. I had an issue with scanning long documents. It turns out that it's just like very bad user interface design. This scanner actually has the ability to scan long documents up to 118 inches. But to get to that, you have to turn on a feature in a fourth sub-menu and then also remember to turn it off when you're done using it. Where it does well on the hardware side, it absolutely fails on the software side. That it would be able to scan the longest documents of them all, but make it just so non-user friendly to access. So, I mean, if you only scan long documents, then this is your scanner. But otherwise, it's just a feature they should have spent a little bit more time on the software developing, just easier access. So let's move on to pricing. With pricing, please check the links in the description for the current prices, and you'll also help support this channel. At the time of this video, the Brother ADS 1500 cost about $200, and this is a decent scanner. This is going to be a little bit smaller, a little bit more compact than the other ones that we've looked at. You unfold it here. There's no paper tray at the bottom to catch anything. What it does have, though, is it does have a USB port in the back for USB drives, so you can scan to that. You have a screen on the front, so you can send it to different destinations, whether it be Evernote or an FTP server. You'll run into a little bit of limitations on this as far as the number of pages per minute it can scan. It can scan 18 pages per minute and has a 20-page feeder here. And this is slightly smaller than the other scanners. The other scanners pretty much all have 25 pages per minute as well as a 50-page document feeder. So a few trade-offs, but you could save a couple $100, and it's wireless. The only scanner that we looked at that wasn't wireless was this Canon Dr-C225. The NeatConnect, I know that I said I wouldn't talk about this that much anymore, but this price is in at about $350. The Canon is surprisingly expensive. It's not wireless, and it comes in at $388. The wireless version of this scanner costs $200 more, and I went into it in more depth in my detailed video review of this, but I feel like these switches on the side, the one to feed documents straight through or use the U-turn to make it more compact, as well as the separation versus non-separation modes, I think that this is something that you would really want to consider strongly against getting the wireless version, because if you have multiple people using it, most documents are going to be separation and U-turn, because I mean, just like plain sheets of paper, that's fine. But if you're scanning other types of documents, like thicker documents, thinner documents, then you have to actually feed items through one at a time in the non-separation mode. And This is something that's just going to be a little bit too much like user interaction for something that should be simple like a desktop scanner. So I definitely wouldn't recommend getting the wireless version of this scanner. Comparing the NeatConnect with the brother, the touchscreen is vertical versus a horizontal orientation, so you're going to get very small QWERTY keyboard versus the other one, which has like kind of a wider, more easier to type, I guess, on the brother than on the NeatConnect using the display interface. Also, this is the only other one that has the ability to use an SD card to scan to as far as a media type, and this doesn't seem as useful as a USB thumb drive. I think that people around the office would less likely have a SD card than they would a USB thumb drive. So I talked a little bit about all of these. My favorite is going to be the ScanSnap Evernote edition here, and it's just remarkably simple. I'd like to have users comment. I didn't get the non-Evernote edition. It is actually a little bit cheaper on Amazon than the Evernote edition, even though I think the Evernote edition basically can only use Evernote, and then the other one you have the ability to scan to pretty much anywhere, I believe. So it'll be interesting to see like if I could get some users who have used the Evernote as well as the non-Evernote edition to give some feedback. I think that they're basically the same scanner, which is a very impressive scanner. I really liked it for the long document scanning. Just dead simple. You just basically hold the start button for 3 seconds and then you can do long documents out of here. Also, instead of having the tray U-turn that requires a lot of memorization as far as which document types can be bent up, this one just has a tray that you can fold out and flip up if you like, or the alternative is leave it up and documents just fall right out onto the desk. So that's my review of all 4 of these scanners. Make sure to check out the more in-depth reviews. Probably skip the NeatConnect review because it's just a review of me trying to figure out how to get my computer to recognize it, and I fail miserably. I'd say definitely leave your comments in the space below. Let me know if you have any questions or which one of these scanners you like best. And from what I've seen so far, just in my limited testing of these devices, I really think that this is a winner. Both the Evernote as well as the non-Evernote editions, if you wanted to have the more flexibility to scan to different places. So that's pretty much everything. Make sure to subscribe if you want to check out me stumbling through some other random product reviews, and hit the like button if you like this video, and make sure to check out that playlist. And thanks again for watching Consumerthon.